Hey guys, so I have 11 more queens to cover because Britta's was posted. Um, I thought it was about time to talk about each of these queens will get their own video, but the favoritism of the top three of season 12 and sort of the top the queens that got favored the most. So starting off with season 1, let's talk about season 1. Obviously, the queens who were valued the most were in the top, like BB, Nina. None of them get there by accident. They have to either have done something that makes Rue believe in them, or, they're like... Anyway, Rue definitely had favored those two. We're back, sorry. So, season 2, obviously Rue favored Tyra and Raven. Here's the thing, though. Raven did not deserve that top 2 spot. Neither did Jujubee. Tatiana really did deserve the top 2 spot. However, Jujubee is a lip sync assassin, and so Tatiana went home, and the other 3 were just the top 3 kind of by default. Jujubee lip synced her way up to the top. Raven, I don't know why, I just could not get behind Raven's attitude towards anybody. She just was... Tyra was the true winner of that season, and anybody who says otherwise, well, sorry, Tyra did show out when all the others didn't. Now, Raja, this was where it was sort of like Rigamora's girl. Manila deserved the top spot, but Raja ended up getting it because, well, Raja knew Tyra Banks. So, this just makes it all bad up until you finally get to the top of the thing and realize that if he had done it fairly, Raja would have still been in the top 3, as had Manila, because they were some of the best players in the season. However, Stacey Lane Matthews would have joined them in the top 3, followed probably by Jara Sofia. Alexis would have probably been where Stacey was, and moving it all around. If it had been fair, Manila would have probably won instead of Raja. But since Raja knew who Tyra Banks was and Adam Lambert, of course, she's gonna win. Sharon Needles' win was because, well, I don't really know why. Chad Michaels was obviously the best contender for the crown. She hadn't lip-synced up till that point, except for once against Latrice, and Sharon and Fifi both had lip-sync. And had been saved. The only reason that they were keeping Fifi around was because of her rivalry with Sharon. They wanted good TV. They had eliminated Willem and then brought back Kenya. The reason that they brought back Kenya was because Rue thought that she deserved a second chance. She really didn't, but we're moving on. Dita Ritz would have made a great top 5 person, but Kenya. We love Kenya on this channel. We love everybody, but really, the top 2 were Fifi and Sharon. And obviously, since Fifi at that point was a giant asshole towards everybody, you obviously don't want another thing where everybody is saying wrong decision, and then they get more and more hostile to where they don't want to do the show anymore. They don't want to do anything anymore, like Tyra. So she had to give it to Sharon. I would have personally chosen Fifi, and Fifi would have not been on All Stars 2, but we're not going to talk about that. Then came All Stars 1, and Chad immediately, we knew she was going to win. It was just another excuse to rob Raven and give Chad the win. But the way they went about it was not very good. If it had been fair, it would not have been teams, and they would have had to actually fight for the win. Either that, or if Mimi on First had actually eliminated Chad Michaels, Raven would have won. But we knew she wasn't going to do that because she didn't pick anybody up. Season 5, Velasquez was favored as well as Jinx. Alyssa was favored. Coco was favored. These 6 were the top 6 to begin with. Everybody else could go screw off. Nobody cared about them. But the top 6, hell, I'll even throw in Ivy Winters, the top 7 were the ones to beat. So after you get through with Jade, it's like, well, now what? I mean, like, we have all of these other queens that have interesting stuff going along with them. So screw the rest of these queens. We're going to focus on these queens for the rest of the season. Even giving them a double Shantae when in a previous episode, Honey Mahogany and Vivian Panay weren't allowed that. So that was an issue. But the favoritism of Alaska would continue on into All Stars 2, which I will talk about more once we get there. Obviously, we can't have Alaska or Roxy win because Roxy was a complete bitch to Jinx, and Alaska, we don't want Alaska to win because she's supposed to win All Stars 2, so we have to give it to the underdog of the entire competition, Jinx. Now, Season 6 was Bianca Del Rio's season. But Adore was the most favored, along with Dela. Point being, Adore should have been in the bottom for the first 2 episodes that she was on, once with Kelly Mantle and once with Vivacious because of that. And if she survived those lip syncs, which with Kelly Mantle, yes, with April Carry On, because Vivacious didn't know what she was doing, and from her team definitely should not have been the one up for elimination. I don't think so, but she was favored because Rue saw something in her. In fact, going so far as to do a double crowning, but deciding that Bianca was the way to go. So, Adore was favored, but also Dela. Dela should have gone home during the Point of No Return lip sync. However, because of her track record and because she was the winner of Snatch Game, you can't send the winner of Snatch Game home right out. Yeah, you can. Stacey Lane Matthews, anybody? But Dela was just... she was alright. But they kept her until the final 5, where Rue was like, okay, who am I going to pick? The one who's doing really well in the lip syncs, or Dela? And she chose Darian, which was the correct choice. Season 7, Violet Chachki, Ginger, and Pearl were favored over everybody else. Pearl going so far as winning a lip sync against Trixie, which we all know should not have happened. But she got picked because Rue said she's a cute boy, so we're going to keep her in. The same thing kind of happened where the top 7 were more iconic than the other 7. I mean, I haven't seen Max. I've seen Jasmine on All Stars, but literally nobody else had been on All Stars before that. That wasn't in that top 7. That top 7 was Fame, Trixie, Katya, Kennedy, Pearl, Ginger, and Violet. So everybody else was just fodder for everybody. And then came Season 8. Bob the Drag Queen, Kimchi, those 2 were definitely favored. I believe Naomi got there by sheer circumstance, and that Chi-Chi, God rest her soul, was in the bottom because of, well, lack of experience, but made it to the top 4 because she did well in the lip syncs. Derek Barry was not favored, although, because she didn't win any challenges, but there's something to be said on her making it as far as she did, being a Britney impersonator, because Rue wanted to see her go far and see if she could break out of the Britney mold, which she never really did. All Stars 2 came around, and Alaska won almost every single challenge. Alaska should not have won every single challenge, but she did. Katya should have been the winner, and it does not mean, and that is not because of the fact that Alaska I did not like Alaska on All Stars 2, but Katya was the clear winner, fan favorite wise. She favored Alaska over Katya because Alaska was semi-robbed her season because of Jinx. So he had to give the win to Alaska, and as a result, everybody got mad and said that Katya should have won, causing an entire backlash, and Katya is fine with losing. She likes the attention now. Season 9 came around, and of course, Valentina. Everybody was rooting for her, as well as Sasha and Shay. Shay was because I think Rue saw a little bit of himself in her. Sasha, I really don't know why. I guess it was because of the cancer story that broke his heart, but she never lip sync, and that was an issue for me because I'm like, ugh. Lip sync, like the 9021 Ho challenge, put her in there. Let's see what she can do. And then she won, and I was like, okay, whatever. Valentina, on a whole nother level, was favored because she was pretty and Latin American, and could actually win challenges based off of her beauty. But when she had to prove herself in the lip sync, she couldn't do that. I don't think he wanted Nina Benina Brown to stay that long, but Valentina made it so that he had to send her home. All Stars 3 came around, and Dela was favored again, as well as Shangela, but the ultimate winner, because Rue was going, okay, well, I'm going to throw a little wrench into the season, was Trixie Mattel. He also favored BB, because BB was his child, which I would not have agreed with. I would have been like, no, I'm going to put you in the bottom every chance I could get, because if you're not winner material this time around, you already have won, so why waste my time with you? So Trixie Mattel ended up winning because of jury vote, and I think it was because he liked Trixie more than anybody else. Well, he liked Shangela, but Shangela, of course, wasn't in the final two. She obviously was the clear winner of All Stars 3, but... So then we get to season 10, and Aquaria is favored, as well as Eureka. Everybody gangs up against the Vixen because of Eureka, and everybody loves Eureka more than they do the Vixen, and as a result, when the Vixen gets eliminated, it's kind of like, well, nobody was really rooting for you on your team, so bye. Rue also liked Cameron more than a lot of people, as well as Asia. I don't know if it was a tactic or not, but he definitely favored them over anybody else. When season All Stars 4 came along, obviously he liked Manila, Latrice, Trinity, and Monet enough to give them top 6 spots. Poor Manila, on the other hand, however, got the short end of the stick because she was in the bottom once or twice and got eliminated. Latrice was favored because she was Latrice, but what Rue didn't see was her ego and her pride getting in the way of everything. So, as a result, Latrice became one of the least favored queens on All Stars 4 because of her everything. Monet was the redemption of the season, and he needed an African-American queen to win, so he chose Monet. But Trinity had proved herself and deserved a win as well, so he gave them both the win. All-Stars... I'm going to go ahead and talk about All-Stars 5, because since no Season 11 queens came up, let's just talk about it. Shea Coulee won. He favored her and Jujubee and Blair and Cracker more than he favored everybody else. In fact, I think he was trying to get India kicked off, but did not succeed, and as a result, finally, when she did get kicked off, he was like, okay, thank God, we don't have to look at her anymore. Shea Coulee ended up winning because obviously she was robbed in her first season, so why not now give her the benefit of the doubt? Season 11, Vanjie and Evie and everybody in the top 5 was really favored, especially Silky. I think Rue liked Silky because of her personality, but personality can't always get you to the win, and Rue soon realized that he was going to have to give the win to somebody who deserved it, and he looked and saw that he had already given Nina West away, and Sugarcane was gone, so he chose Evie, which wasn't a bad idea, but Evie oddly was one of the ones that I had a question mark by. Would she be able to win? And she did. I would have chosen Akira, because Akira's just a lot more fun. Season 12, he favored the top 3 as well as Sherry Pie. Sherry Pie he favored, I don't know why. He just did. And as a result, when she got disqualified, it made her whole episode arcs stupid. He favored Jada Essence Hall because she was pretty, Gigi Good because, well, Gigi Good, and Crystal because of her damn mullet. Not allowing her to get the win on the makeover challenge was rigor but not giving Jackie the win for her portrayal of her parents was also rigor. This would have then put them at odds against each other, where, sadly, I do think Jackie could not have held her own against Crystal, but Crystal had a lot of problems, and I don't think deserved the win as much as Jada, Gigi, or Jackie. But it kind of would suck if Jackie got the win, because she didn't win any challenges. Which then makes me think of Scarlett Bobo from Canada's Drag Race. Why give her the win when she only had one challenge under her belt, and blah blah blah. And then I remember that Silky Nutmeg Ganache had the most wins out of the top 4, and they still gave it to somebody who had only one challenge win under their belt. So the favoritism on Drag Race needs to stop. We need to have these queens, and we need to judge them fairly. This has been a special PSA from me, Jacob. Have a lovely day, lovely afternoon. Bye, guys.